Thanks to movie theaters, I was not only able to experience Kill Bill for the very first time, but I was also able to experience it on the big screen. Last night, I watched Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. Although this re-edit by Quentin Tarantino has both Volume 1 and Volume 2 together, I'm going to review it as if I'm reviewing Volume 1 and then Volume 2. Starting it off, I have to talk about our lead protagonist, the bride, played by Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman is talented. She was amazing in this role. I was first introduced to Uma Thurman back in 1997 when she played Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin. This is probably going to be the role that I remember her more from moving forward. Though I loved her as Poison Ivy, I think her as the bride was amazing. But then I also have to mention one of her main antagonists, played by Lucy Liu. And this, I think, was the most fierce I've ever seen her play a role. I think I was first introduced to Lucy Liu back in Charlie's Angel. But again, similar to Uma Thurman, I think this role is going to be the one that I remember her most from, even though I've seen Lucy Liu play other roles in other films. I think the first thing that stuck out to me truly was the soundtrack of this film. Of course, I'm going to talk about the action as a fan of action. However, the soundtrack for this film really just added a fun energy vibe to this film. Honestly, Tarantino is great in using music to add to a scene while also letting the silent moments breathe. The film also excels in the aspect of character development, even though we're going to talk a little bit more about that in Volume 2. Volume 1 still builds up the character of the bride enough where you're able to cheer for her, where you're able to root and you want her to succeed in her mission. I also think it was a wonderful choice to use animation in order to give us a little bit more backstory on Lucy Liu's character, Oren. Those scenes, I think it allowed even more to be added to the film because you're able to do a little bit more gore, a little bit more violence, while still keeping it in animation form. And it was satisfying. As I mentioned before, the action is just so satisfying. The one scene that just sticks out to me the most, and I guess made me really enjoy it, was the bride's battle against the Crazy 88. Even though it had moments of campiness, even though it had moments where you couldn't help but laugh at what was going on, I think it was so impactful and I really enjoyed it. But now, moving on to Volume 2. While in the action department it is a little bit slower compared to Volume 1, it is more dialogue heavy. It allows more of the story to breathe. It allows you to get more backstory, not only for the bride, but also for Bill. Something I appreciated about Volume 2 was the fact that it allows you to understand why and how the bride, aka Beatrix Kiddo, knows how to kick butt, how to survive things, because it gives you that time with her as a character. You see her learning, you see her mastering certain things. So that was pretty cool. Chapter 7, I will say, if you're claustrophobic, if you have a fear of being buried alive, Chapter 7 might be a little bit rough for you. Let's just end it at that. Chapter 8. I really enjoyed Chapter 8 because Chapter 8 felt like Tarantino's love letter or homage to the classic martial art and kung fu films. I think the way that it was filmed, the rapid in and out to show the characters' emotions, what they were feeling in that moment, I think it was such an excellent touch and it added to this film, in my opinion. Overall, I had a blast with this film. I think I still enjoy Inglourious Basterds just a little bit more. However, if I had to rank the Tarantino films that I've watched so far, I think I'm going to do Inglourious Basterds, Kill Bill Volume 1, The Hateful Eight, and then Kill Bill Volume 2. For those of you guys who have seen this film, whether it's Volume 1 or Volume 2 separately or the re-edited version, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, you guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.